All right, Cyber Traders, welcome on back to close out our day, close out our week, close out our month, and of course, with that, close out our year. Great to see Bill with us here this Friday afternoon, December 30th. Great to have Bill Ireland here. Hope you're feeling well. Bill, great to see Leda, Mario, Grant, Allison. Got a scratchy throat once again there. Hopefully we'll be good to go for class, at least coming up at 3:05 Eastern time. I feel like I've been on the mic all day like Scott Hansen from NFL Red Zone, right? And just haven't taken a break. With that, we have a lot to talk about right now. The markets are dipping lower heading into the close, so it could be a good day to follow some stocks on the way down. I was actually talking about Amazon, which is on the screen here, as part of our Swing Trading Pro class. Not something I'm really sinking my teeth into right now. Actually, I think it's going to break lower over time, but you're kind of looking at 82 as a key historical level just on the monthly chart. But, if you were part of the Swing Trading Pro course that we finished up earlier this afternoon for Jim and Scott and Grant and all of us that were part of that, I was happy to have you folks there. But if you had missed out, the recording of that should be up on the student dashboard by this weekend. All right, so with that, let's just go right down from top to bottom, folks. We do have the Phase 2 course finishing up this afternoon. Basically, it's like a mini Phase 3 class, really just observing the market close, just in the education room, in the classroom that we have, and really reeling off of the picks that we'll, work off of now. So let's go right from top to bottom. Let's see what we have. All right, so no better place to start than number one right at the top of the gainers list here, up over 93%, the ATNF. And needless to be said at this point, folks, especially if you were in the Phase 2 class this morning, you know that this is the type of stock that you'd want to follow right now. So, we'll definitely put this on our watch list to begin. I don't think it ended up hitting $4 yet, right? It kind of topped off right at 398. I'd still be wary of a false breakout should it actually test $4. If this moves back up and moves up towards $4, look for that to actually be a resistance and for a head fake. But we'll put this on our watch list to begin. I'll tell you, this Pally trade threw me for such a loop this morning. I'll briefly go over this stock because I'm out of it now, thankfully. But just like I tell you folks, hey, let's not be in any active positions while we're in class, while we're being a student. Well, 99.999% of the time, I take my own advice as the teacher. I try not to be in multiple positions or any positions as I'm teaching, where my focus is on you folks. I was in this trade from $5.33, all from the morning. And the bad part about this is that I did not get out where I should have because I was teaching, right? And we were focused on the moves that we had from yesterday afternoon. That was the focus of the morning class today. And, I could have gotten out as high as like $8.50, $8, pulled back down. I ended up getting out on the first half of my position. Well, from what I had left at the time, I took some shares out at $5.59. I took the second leg out right around 7. And then on the last half right here, I ended up getting out as it squeezed back up because it pulled back. And just want to get out on the remaining shares. Hey, there's a chance for us to get back in on this trade if it can make higher highs, if it can make higher lows, break above resistance, and it just failed to do that. It moved above $7, but failed to truly build support from there and run higher. So, at that point, I've been long out of this trade, but it's pretty interesting. 533 once again, another nice bounce here actually going into this afternoon. So, for as much as this stock pumped up today, it's possible maybe by the end of this meeting we come back, it will build better support off this price. But for right now, I'm going to keep this off our list. Let's see if there's anything looking better directionally or just altogether. So, yeah, I think the run is done on this, at least for right now. All right, SOUN. We'll turn our attention to this one, making more of an afternoon move. After 1 o'clock Eastern, breaking out pretty nicely up towards 2, and just now, right before the meeting started, pretty big spike of volume coming in there. Let me just double check Benzinga Pro while I have it up right now. Just check to see if there's any news out on this SOUN. Cantor Fitzgerald upgrades them to overweight, lowers their price target to $2.20. Okay. Maybe a little short covering could ensue on this trade. I think that's what this spike mainly was then, if that's the case. So I'll come back to it. Not fully committed to this one either. You might hear that quite a bit, though, as I go from top to bottom now. Cala. Cala, we ended up doing so well on this stock back from Wednesday and yesterday of this week. And then obviously today, it ended up popping up as high as like $45. I'm not talking about this year. I'm talking about the pre-market because going into the open, well, it's trending down. So you were expecting to see this pull back lower. I mean, we were expecting it to pull back lower the last 2 days. So with that, it ended up building support really nicely right off one of my lines there, roughly from that 30 level. I think I was referencing right around 29.50 to $30 as a potential support. Ended up building there. It took a long time, but ended up building up there and pushing off there pretty nicely. So now this is back up towards 40. It's hard for us to not put this back on our list, so to say, but really, like honestly, how many of us are actually going to trade the stock on full position size, right? So, listen, if you want to gamble, it's the end of the year, roll the dice on tiny share count, go ahead. That's all right. But, if you're actually looking to take like a, trade that you can get any better of a read on, then let's see what else is out there. Hmm. Let's see what's out there. VATE doesn't look half bad. Ran up really well already from 130 up to 190ish, 187. But even with this pullback, the spread is not terrible. I wish the order book could be a little bit more filled in, and it may fill in here going into the next hour. So I'll put this on our watch list. The VATE. Ron saying Calla, the spread is scary. Indeed, I have not traded that thing once. The last 2 days, I haven't traded that stock. There's easier fish to catch out there, folks. As much as I say that, I always want to, of course, congratulate anyone that ended up making money on it, especially if you had it from a great price from this morning, or rather from earlier this week. Brian yesterday, Barbara the day before, Allison, John, Alex, Scott, just so many of us ended up doing pretty well on that trade. But at this point right now, you don't want to try that right there. It's pretty extended. AM, just a bunch of these like cheapy pharma stocks that are littering the gainer side here right now. Markets are kind of down right now, and there's really no news out prior to the end of the year here coming up on a Friday. So there's not a whole lot that looks great. Running right back into ARDX. This isn't looking half bad, folks. It's actually looking really strong, moving back up towards that 280 high. 270 was a clear level that we had our eyes on from this morning. And with that, the rebreak above that leading to a nice squeeze here. So, yeah, ARDX looks good. Scott calling out TGTX, Scott J. And, I actually skipped over that. I was going to get to TGTX next. And it's trying, right? This thing is holding pretty strong still, too. It's actually back above the highs that we had back from Wednesday this week. So, still has to break above the intraday highs today, but it's on its way, right? I was looking at this off of 1133 earlier on a call with one of my students, and we had a nice entry at the time, but honestly, it didn't really continue too much afterwards. This was the entry we took, ended up stopping us out for a -5. And then from there, it pushed back up a little bit more, but it really didn't give you that continuated push. Like, you know what I'm talking about. The one that you saw TGTX make yesterday, it ended up flying. This thing is choppy as can be right now. So that's the only concern about this trade. But in terms of direction, it's obviously looking pretty good for right now across the afternoon. Hopefully it, just accelerates a lot faster. All right, folks, let me know if there's anything else that you'd want me to look at before we close out. We got VATE, we got ARDX, we got TGTX, we got the ATNF, which we started this meeting off with. This honestly still looks the best out of everything. Let's see this make a higher low. Yep, the ARDX Ravina is already on our list. Just covered that a second ago. It looks really good. Looks good still. All right, we'll jump back to the stocks that we had on our side list here, the PALI and the SOUN. You tell me, PALI doesn't look like it wants to go anywhere, does it? SOUN does. That wants to go somewhere. The other way, wants to go down. This thing is getting clobbered now. So, yeah, I'm going to pass on this. Unfortunately, this did not sustain support. Ravina asking about TIGR. Not looking good now, Ravina. I was looking for more of a bounce across the mid-morning, like before we started class, and things were looking good here. We had support built. just never ended up moving back up over to 370, and that was the next resistance. So just during class, it kind of died off. If it's not breaking higher, folks, you can't fight the trend. You don't want to swim upstream. So I was looking for the squeeze up there, Ravina. We actually had it on IQ, another Chinese stock. It was very similarly timed, but I was thinking it would also be on Tiger. Didn't get it there. So IQ made that more late morning bounce, mid to late morning bounce. Ravina saying there is a gap. Well, yeah, like on the daily chart, but a lot of that reflects upon this morning's pre-market. But there's a reason why it's down 29%. Obviously, some news came out on it, right? So, ARDX, there's a gap, but look how long it took ARDX to even think about filling this gap, let alone trying to fill the gap now, like even think about filling the gap. It took this thing over a year. I remember this like the back of my hand this day. It was down 88% on that morning back in July of last year. And, I've dealt with gap fills before, so you don't want to hold your breath waiting for it to just miraculously pop up and cover. It took a long time, no pun intended, to see this try and fill the gap. All right. All right, folks, for all of us on social media, Facebook Live, YouTube, Happy New Year. How about that? I want to wish you and your family a happy and healthy new year. Of course, successful and wealthy as well, but we care most about happiness and health all together here. So, I want to wish everyone a happy and healthy new year ahead. If you're interested in joining our live trading room going into next year, how about that? We're off on Monday, but we're going to be back on Tuesday the 3rd. Happy early birthday, Rich Liza. He's actually going to be celebrating his birthday upcoming on Monday. Happy birthday, Rich. We appreciate you here at Cyber Trading University. And with that, for all of us on social media, Facebook Live, YouTube, if you wanted to join our live trading room, go right down to the link on the green banner below the stream to get yourself started. Any questions beforehand, any trades that you wanted to go over with me prior to that, feel more than free to send over via email, josh@ctutrading.com. But with that in mind, folks, for Leda, Patrick, Karen, Grant, Mark, and all of us here live joining us here, I look forward to seeing most of us in class. You'll have Rich on the mic here from 3 to 4 o'clock. So for those of you not joining me in class, I'll say the same to you folks as well. I want to wish you and your family a happy and healthy new year coming up. Certainly in terms of this market, it provides a great time for us to try and learn right now before the bull market really begins, right? So this could be a really strong year ahead. May not be right away, but we could have some really good momentum within this market throughout this year going into February, March time perhaps. We'll see what's ahead. All right, folks, I look forward to seeing most of us in class. Talk to you all soon. Take care.